I know that my absence has made you all quite melancholy. However, I've decided that I shall once again regale you with my intelligence and good humor. However brief our concursion may be. I shall once again, with full rout and vigor, ask you all to please join me in assemblage for this impetuous introduction that I'm sure you all remember and know. I do ask, my good gentlemen and Baroness noble women, to once again recite the introduction with me. As I declare, my good sirs, that you, yes sir, you there, you hoodlums, that you hoodlums down on these streets, we got a market seized these. Well, hello. This is Covert Radio. It is September the 24th, 2022. It's about 3:10 a.m., so I gotta ask that you excuse me if this jumps around. You know, it's been about 6 months, somewhere around in there, that I've made a video, and, you know, it really doesn't seem like it has been that long at all. It really doesn't. There's been so much stuff that goes on the channel that, you know, if I'm not recording, you guys don't know about it. I mean, it's not good stuff. You know, there was one time I waited about 3 months. See, and my levels feel all messed up. Let me check something here. Check. Yeah. There was once I waited about 3 months for wait a second, to make a video. And the algorithm had kind of taken me out of shadow banning. And, you know, you could once again search Covert Radio. And what worried me this last time, though, is I really feel genuinely like somebody was gunning for the channel, because 2 hours prior to one of the strikes, because there was only one more strike before they took the channel. And I'm talking, they're now going after videos that are 2-3 years old. 2 hours prior to one of the strikes lifting, or maybe it was 2 hours after, but I know there was a 2-hour window that I miraculously got another strike. So I said, you know what? I'm just sick and tired of it. I have so much other stuff going on in real life and online, and it's just this is just ridiculous. YouTube is ridiculous. These communists are never going to stop until we are really truthfully on a system of compliance. And if you ever want to hear any information like this, I highly suggest you subscribe to the Covert Radio Rumble channel, and I'll link that in the description, because, you know, it's just, YouTube's not worth it. If you're still on YouTube and you're even active at all near the truth, you're really not saying nothing. You're not saying nothing. You're not really getting people to think. I'm only on YouTube by the skin of my teeth. I mean, it's only because I've, watched what was happening. I've observed the action, and then, all of a sudden I'll be getting a bunch of hits, a bunch of watch time, and then strike. So, I mean, I don't know, but it's not only that. I mean, there's other people I watch, and I see that, they've been taken down, then they'll come back up. But like I said, if you're on YouTube right now and you're, covering any political news or anything that's that's of, of substance, and you're not shadow banned, then you're not saying anything. You're not saying nothing. So come to Rumble. Covert Radio is on Rumble, and it's as simple as this: rumble.com/Covert Radio. That's enough of that. I was just listening to RIZZO, and give a shout out to RIZZO, and I'm going to link his channel down in the description, because what I'm about to talk about is, it's just on, I cannot believe that you guys aren't seeing this how I'm seeing it. So that's really the only reason I'm addressing this. I have a million thoughts a second while I was listening to his last video, and I'm listening to his perspective, which he's, I agree with a lot of things he's saying. And the reason I'm pointing back to him is because if you're interested in this topic, dealing with True Freeman, which absolutely did start with Operation FATS, which was an acronym that I created called the Fight Against Tommy Sotomayor. This battle that True Freeman has been voluntarily going through is really, it goes back about 6 or 7 years. Do you understand what I just said? 6 or 7 years this has been going on. And RIZZO has been there the entire time. I mean, maybe shortly right after this started, I'd say 2016-ish, 17-ish, somewhere in there, that I remember seeing him. I mean, it might have been prior to that, but he's been there. He absolutely knows the history. He's been involved directly and indirectly as long as I can remember. But I personally have not been keeping up this past year or two because, there's a lot of reasons for that. But one that sticks out of my mind here is and I'm scarred for life, is the pink fishnet butty boy. The pink fishnet UK butty boy, the UK mafia, wet boy mafia, you know what I mean? Like him and all his cohorts and all the racisms that seemingly, it always boils down to race. I guess in dealing with me, it's always boiled down to race at the end of the day. So ever since then, and just, here, do it, and then I've watched the debacle. See, it's almost like, I'm not getting into this. I'm not getting into this because I don't care. I don't care about Butty Boy. I don't care how much of a clown that he is and looks like. Like, I just can't. That is the epitome of stupidity. If you want to be honest, it's the epitome of stupidity. You like how I say that? It's the epitome of stupidity. When you are so blind to your own incompetence that you actually think that you could compete on any intellectual level with somebody of the likes of Tommy Sotomayor or Covert Radio or, there's a few others. But the epitome of stupidity is when you are so ignorant to how incapable you actually are. And that's who the pink fishnet butty boy UK mafia represents. And it's just a waste of time. But, it's, people love hate, and I refuse to be defined by people who hate me. And it's not me, it's my skin color, and I'm not getting into this. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. It's all documented and whatever. I mean, that's not why I'm here. Speaking of which, let me say this too. I'm on nobody's side. You understand what I just said? I'm on nobody's side. Nobody is on my side, and I am on nobody's side. I call it as I see it. I always have, and I always will. Yes, I've formed alliances. Yes, we had a very strong, active group at one point. I never claimed to be the leader of this group. I absolutely was influential in the group, and I used some of my skills and talents to make sure that we've had platforms and a voice and means and, a vehicle to gather like minds and perform towards a common goal, which, again, I don't even want to get into that because, it's just so much has changed really since I've covered anything dealing with this sector that there's still, even reading through the comment sections of RIZZO's chat and watching a couple of True Freeman's recent chats, like all of which is public information. There's nothing disclosed here that's private or copywritten. I mean, come on. If I'm not telling the truth, tell me. If I have this so wrong, tell me how. There's not one filter in my comment section. You can say whatever you want. You can speak freely. You can speak openly. I don't block people. I don't, hinder your free speech whatsoever. And I've also been an advocate of that since day one. Unlike other people. And you see how, as a society, what happens when you now speak truth. But that's communism too. So again, we're not going to get into anything like that. But like I said, I'm on nobody's side. What I'm giving you right here, and this may be part one, because I do have a lot to say about this topic, because I've been involved intimately with the process that has led to this. I don't hate anybody. I don't want to see anybody go to prison. Put it this way. I don't want to see anybody unfairly go to prison. I'm giving you my perspective of this. And there's one critical thing you have to understand. We're going to start here, and I'm going to speak to you as if you really don't know me. You don't know what I've been involved with. You don't know that maybe my association with True Freeman and Tommy Sotomayor and whoever else. I have to tell you something that you may or may not know. I'm sure a lot of you know this. You call him Littlefoot. You call him this. You call him that. You've seen him. He's been on live streams. He's shown his face. He's shown his stature. But here's what you may not understand. I don't know if you understand how critically important stature is in this situation. Ego, an inferiority complex, Napoleon syndrome, and lack of intelligence with means to certain things has caused this. And I can if you don't understand that, it's you don't know people. I'm 6'4". I've never hid that I'm a big dude. I'm 6'4". I average around 280, maybe 300. It just depends. I can go as low as 250, 260. I can go as high as 320 or so. I try not to go over 3, but it depends. If I'm lifting, if I'm working out, or, depending on what time of year it is. I've been purposely trying to gain weight recently because I've said, and it's documented on my channel, on all of my channels that I talk about this. I told you this day is coming where we're about to be really foist down into a subservient level of dependency on the communist government that's overthrowing America and the world, the globalists, the controllers is what I've called them for the last 6 years. There will be a food shortage. Math doesn't lie. The numbers will not line up. And this is what they've done in World War II. And it's no coincidence that a crazy German is again trying to control the world. You will have nothing and you will be happy. You'll never be happier. They will eat bugs. It's no coincidence. They will use food to control people. That's how it's done. That's how Stalin did it. Lenin, Hitler, and the face of the communists now. They're going to do it with food. So, I don't even want to get into this. I don't, because, we're getting ready to see nukes launched any moment. Mark my words. Mark my words. And see, Putin does tie into this. I don't want to lose you. I'm just proving to you that stature means way more than a lot of people think it does. But you may have to be a man to understand that. If you're a little girl, a little woman, you may have some understanding of what I'm talking about. If you're a big woman, a tall, big woman, you may have a slight understanding of what I'm talking about. But if you're a 6'4", 280-pound hulking white male, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you're a 5'3", shriveled up little beta male, you're going to know what I'm talking about. Do you know what it's like to stand in a line and literally look down on everybody around you? I do. And men have a problem with that. Because of my size, I've seen things, and I will always see things from a different perspective, both literally and figuratively. I will always see things from a different perspective. My size has even come into legal matters for myself personally. And now size is 100% contributing to True Freeman's legal problems. And I can tell you the story. Long story short, somebody owed me money, and they were on a cell phone with somebody that was with me. I'm not saying they were being set up, but maybe I had the person with me call this person to find out where they are. Found out where they were. Hey, hold on, I'll be there right minute. My cousin wants to talk to you. I get on the phone. He hangs up. I'm already on my way to the location. It was a gas station. I'm in my Jeep. I come ripping into the parking lot to find he turned white as a ghost when he seen me. He grabbed the first thing he could grab to do damage, which happened to be a landscaping stone about as big as, half a cinder block. And the only thing he could do is run at me full speed and throw this rock as hard as he could. He tried to break my windshield. He tried to hit me with it. It missed my windshield and went straight into the radiator of my truck, of my Jeep, and instantly disabled my truck. Just fluid, running out, antifreeze, this and that. I shut the motor off. Well, there's tires screeching. There, people were witnesses to this. They call the police. Police show up, da-da-da-da-da. Took a few statements. The police already know what happened. There's footage of everything that happened. And what am I going to lie? So they asked, who was this? Why did he do this? This and that, da-da-da. I said, it's a personal matter. I'll handle it. No, that's not what we're doing. We're doing this. We know. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. Long story short, we're in court. When he was on the stand, his biggest defense was to the judge. He said, Judge, look at him. Look at him. He will kill me. I was scared to death. I was afraid for my life. Look at him. So my own size has come into legal matters in the past, let alone having an inferiority complex, having to constantly validate that I'm a man with a woman's name. There's a lot of dynamics here. I want you to listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. A woman's name, a very small stature. Small man syndrome is 100% real. And I could tell you 5, 10, 15, 20 stories of the last 20, 30 years of two dudes that are very close to me who absolutely have Napoleon syndrome. It's a very real thing, and they're all alike. They're all alike. That's why I know Freeman so well, because he is almost a carbon copy of somebody that I've been friends with for over 30 years. Undoubtedly, if he was 6'1", 6'2", we would not be having this conversation right now. He would not be facing everything he's facing, felony charges and, being disarmed. And I'm going to tell you something. He will not be disarmed. See, this is what's bothering me, that none of you, for some reason, are seeing what's about to happen. You all are proving True Freeman's case for him. Don't you understand that? You are proving his own defense. And I'm telling you something. If he does what I think he's absolutely capable of doing, some of you listening to my voice right now will absolutely be charged and subpoenaed for felony stalking and felony interstate stalking. So get ready. Get ready. Because I promise you something. I promise you. Somebody who is severely inept with Napoleon syndrome, which is more professionally called an inferiority complex. Somebody who has it to the degree that True Freeman does, I assure you, he's not going to be disarmed. So the physical shortcomings, the small stature, the little feet, the female name, his masculinity has been on trial for the last 7 years. And a lot of it, well, all of it really, aside from the obvious physical aspects of this, it's all been documented, and it's all been initiated by him. Do you want me to play a song for you right now? I made a grown man cry. I made a grown man cry. I could play so many clips for you guys. See, I don't want to do this because I don't want to be subpoenaed. Listen to me. Do you understand the archive that I have? No, you don't. I know you don't. Some of you do. Some of the people that have been close with me. And even they, they don't know the true depth of what I have. I have it all. I have it all. And if I have it all, guess what True Freeman has? Because for a very long time, we shared information. We have a lot of the same stuff. Let me tell you something again. Get ready to be subpoenaed for felony stalking and felony interstate stalking. Get ready. Because again, if this comes down to felony charges and him being disarmed, he absolutely will go as far as he can go. And, you know, I know RIZZO or somebody said this in one of the comment sections that, oh, you know, he's never going to make it to the Supreme Court, or he said he's going to take it all the way. Listen to me. And I'm going to explain this in a moment. This is a very, very real possibility. And I'm going to explain that here in a moment. But just so you understand what an inferiority complex, Napoleon syndrome, short man, whatever you want to call it, I don't know if you understand the complexity and the depth that causes these type of men to seek power. They want to constantly be at war. That's why they call it a Napoleon complex, because Napoleon tried to hide the fact that he was short. And he was, see, that's why people like I'm going old school, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lou Ferrigno, or whatever his name is, Lou Ferrigno, I don't know what it is, Lou Figaro, I don't know. So aside from these people, they're short men, they're small men, or they have speech impediments. Lou Ferrigno, that's his name. They have speech impediments. Arnold Schwarzenegger still to this day can hardly speak English. Ferrigno had some weird impediment with his speech. You know, you see a lot of these guys on YouTube or social media that are, you know, experts at working. These guys are like 5'2", 5'3". They've dedicated their lives to achieve the most amount of success they can. And it's all motivated by their height. When you see somebody with Napoleon syndrome or an inferiority complex, they're always loud. And again, I know this not only from Freeman, but other people that are close to me in my life, that they're just loud. There's this one dude, I won't even hang out with him. I haven't for years, because every time we'd go out somewhere, he literally felt like, he just tried to start fight after fight after fight after fight. Very ostentatious, very aggressive, just overly aggressive when they don't even have to be. They don't even have to be. They all want to be in dominating positions. And it's, again, attributed to their height limitations. They feel inadequate in all aspects of life. Again, unless you're a man or a big man or a very short man, you don't know the depth of how this feels to somebody who's 5'3" or whatever, wears a size 6'7" shoe. I mean, literally in their mind, in their psyche, everything that happens to them is because they feel disrespected. And they feel disrespected because of their height. And it's obsessive. It's beyond any normal characteristic. Everything that they do, everything. They cannot develop healthy relationships with anyone. And I'm going to tell you something again. Get ready, If you've been a part of this for the last 7 years, and I'm talking about not as an observer, I'm talking about you being directly involved. Because I assure you, text messages will be subpoenaed. Online records will be subpoenaed. Video, they already took all of his digital stuff. What do you think they're taking off of that? There's going to be a whole process of discovery. And he absolutely, without a doubt, has suffered psychologically because of people on YouTube. And I'm going to tell you, he's never, ever, ever, ever going to give up his guns. It's never going to happen because that is his equalizer. That is his extra foot of height. That is his size 13 shoe. Listen to me. You don't, I just feel like you don't understand how deep this goes. This goes back, if you're an evolutionist, if you believe in evolution, this goes back to evolution in the terms that the male is the protector. So, just like a peacock, when they feel they're trying to attract a mate or they feel threatened, what do? They try to get as big as they can. They try to show you, hey, I'm way much bigger. Most animals do this. That's why a grizzly, before it's about to eat every one of your vital organs out of your chest, they will stand up and tower over you 6 or 7 feet tall. It's a domination position. And even animals know that size matters. Height matters. How much space you take up matters. Even animals know this. You don't think True Freeman lives this? With everything you've ever saw of him, the outrageous aggression and ego and, just the fact that it's never enough and I'm not afraid of nobody. I'm not afraid of, I'll take all comers. This is a psychological disease. And then you mix alcohol and possibly cocaine into this too? Come on. This has been in the wings. But I'm telling you something. You think that you're watching him implode, and what's going to happen? I can't wait. I literally can't wait. He's never felt important. These guns make him feel important. These guns make him get respect. In his mind, these guns are going to protect his wife or girlfriend. These guns is what protects his house, his dogs, his property, his vehicles, his truck, his dignity, his ego. Do you think he's going to give those up over, without a fight, I should say? Do you really believe that? You're wrong. You're wrong. This is just starting. This is just starting. This is based from evolution. Shorter men always feel disadvantaged. They always feel disrespected. And they feel limited in their effectiveness. So these guns, again, are what is the great equalizer for him. You are all proving True Freeman's case for him. Every video you make, every text message you sent, every phone call you made, every video you streamed, you will be charged with felony stalking, and you will be charged with felony interstate stalking. You know what's funny about this? Let me say this too about Mr. Sotomayor there. I said this years ago. I said that one day, I said, Tommy, one day, I promise you, I promise you. One day, you, sir, you will be used in case law. I said this 6-7 years ago. And I also stated that the laws have not caught up to the internet. I've been saying that for 6 or 7 years. The laws have not caught up to the internet. They've not caught up to social media. They've not caught up to, effectively protect kids online. But here's what's happened, and unless you're paying attention, you don't even realize it's happened quickly, and really these last few years. Because, see, everything's been shut down. The Borg, which I've talked about for 6 or 7 years, which is the cloud, the internet, whatever you want to call it, everything is done through AI monitoring systems. Okay, and I'm not going to go into any type of theories about this or how this is the gamut of control that the controllers are going to initialize, because all they have to do is shut your IP address down or your MAC address. You work from home, you play from home, you get entertained from home, you do your banking from home. And how do you do that? Digitally. I can't. You do it digitally. That's how you've done it for the last couple years. You were forced to do it digitally, right? So guess what they've been doing in the last few years because of lockdowns and things like that? They have quickly, effectively, and surprisingly efficiently have made leaps and bounds of progress, accomplishing legality, dealing with the internet, social media, harassment. I mean, there's so many landmark cases that have happened in the last several years that it's unbelievable. Case law, enacted laws. I mean, it's unbelievable. Unless you pay attention, you don't know. And I'm saying these are things that have been dealing with mainly like harassment, online harassment, online threats. It's also been doxing, sharing nude pictures, and, even if it's consensual or non-consensual, but especially with cyber stalking, which, again, we've all been intimately involved with. I could just mention a name like Shakita Wingard. I call that gang stalking, is what exactly happened to her, through the means of the same people that are going to be subpoenaed when True Freeman takes this as far as he can possibly take it. Maybe I can explain it like this. By True Freeman facing the possibility that he's going to be disarmed forever is like telling somebody like me who's 6'4" that, hey, we're going to go ahead and take your legs from you, and then you're going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of however much longer you live. So do you think I'm going to do everything I can to keep my legs? Huh? Yeah. I assure you, True Freeman's going to do everything he can to protect his legs. Dealing specifically with harassments, threats online, I'm just going to cite a couple landmark cases like Andrew Anglin, who ran a neo-Nazi site. And, I've covered neo-Nazi sites before because they loved Sotomayor, like Stormfront and other places have had special areas for pro-Sotomayor people. But he ran a site called the Daily Stormer, and he called on all of the visitors to the site to troll storm this woman from Montana. She was Jewish. They went after her. They went after her family. Now, let me just compare this. There have been people on this platform and others and Facebook and stuff who have engaged in calling on their followers to have flag parties, to what people call troll storming against True Freeman. And not only just True Freeman's family. So what happened was she was confronted with a bunch of threats, hateful messages. They went after her family, and this went on and on and on and on and on, to the point where her family had to flee their house. She didn't feel safe anymore because people came to her house. People drove past her house. People sent things to her house. Well, let's see. Who else has that happened to? Yeah, so guess what? The Southern Poverty Law Center had gotten involved. She filed a lawsuit against the guy who ran this site. And the charge was an invasion of privacy. She also tacked on the intentional infliction of emotional distress and an intimidation charge, because there's a law in Montana that deals with anti-intimidation. A year or two ago, a judge ruled against Andrew Anglin. This guy tried to flee because he's in Montana. They caught up with him. I guess he was going to try to go north. He was charged and ordered to pay by a federal judge $14 million in damages to this Jewish woman and her family. $14 million. Now, you tell me, oh, this name is crazy. This is all different. No, it's not. Not in the eyes of the law. We're talking about law. We're not talking about he said this and then I said that and then we're talking about interstate stalking. We're talking about felony stalking. We're talking about doxing. We're talking about threats. There was another case. A man was going through a divorce. There were song lyrics that were posted on Facebook. They were violent, whatever. There have been songs made about True Freeman that have been violent. The person who did this against her husband that was, she was going through a divorce from, was prosecuted under 18 U.S.C. 875C, which prohibits making threats over the internet. This went to the Supreme Court. This went to the Supreme Court. They made a ruling that by posting this with regards to the divorce, the lyrics, the incitement of the threats and harm, they said it was grounds to cause intent to commit a crime. And the court also concluded that it didn't matter if this person truly felt threatened by song lyrics. The fact that it was done was the crime. Because they looked at the fact of, did this person have the subjective intent to threaten his ex or her ex-husband? Yes. The Supreme Court decided this case. Doxing. This is going on right now with Alex Jones. He's been on the stand yesterday, the day before. He's going through this Sandy Hook stuff. $45 million is what he's liable now for going on his his talk show, and for 23 minutes total. That's the total amount of time that he had questioned some of the family members of the. I'm not getting all into this because again, this is just such a demonic time in America with regards to our eroding rights, our eroding constitutional rights that, free speech doesn't exist with these communists that are running algorithmic, say, I'm not. I can't explain this case. You may know about it. You may know who Alex Jones is, but I'm telling you something. He questioned a shooting. This went on and on. Now he's in court. But it all started from the fact that one of the fathers felt like through the coverage of Alex Jones that he was doxxed. His information was doxxed. So people had his name. It didn't matter. It was already out there with mainstream media. They're just focusing on Alex Jones himself as a scapegoat, basically, or a piggy bank, however you want to look at it, and go after him. And this is all, this is going to go probably to the Supreme Court as well, depending on how this goes, because this absolutely is another free speech case. The laws are changing every single day. And if you feel safe out of everything you've done in the last 7 years, and I'm saying physically have done to True Freeman, then in my opinion, you're an idiot. Because Posner, one of the kids' dads, started getting all these messages and this and, all followers, drones of Alex Jones talking about, oh, that didn't happen, this didn't, and he filed a federal lawsuit along with other parents. They've already won. The actual damages have already been the case has already been decided. It's just now they're figuring out exactly how much. Is it 5 million, 10 million, 50 million, 40 million? They wanted something like 150 million or something. So, I mean, this is happening, guys. This is happening. This is happening. Cyber stalking especially. There is case after case after case after case of cyber stalking cases being heard in courts all across the United States, really all across the world. They're funneling down control of the internet. This just isn't solely about free speech. This isn't solely about, trying to reel people in from making threats. That's not the main goal of this. The main goal of this is control. It's control. But I said years ago, Tommy Wilby used this case law. And here we are. And I promise you, this may go to the Supreme Court. If this doesn't, then I will publicly say, you know what? Covert Radio's an idiot. And I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm very surprised True Freeman just gave up all his weapons. That's, I'll make a public apology. But I'm telling you, he's not. He's not. And you better be ready to be subpoenaed. Because if he wants to, and this is just the facts of our country right now, because he's considered a minority, True Freeman, if you're listening to this, call the ADL. Call the Southern Poverty Law Center. And I'll actually give you one other person to call. Her name is Brittan Heller. Write this down. Brittan, Brittan, Heller, Heller. Another landmark case that she won dealing with people harassing her online. Not to mention the provable reality that this has affected him financially. Brittan Heller was a law student, and I'm not going to get on to this. I'll try to link something on the bottom of this video after it's uploaded and everything. But she actually was a law student. Some harassment happened. It affected her. She feared for her safety, and she filed a lawsuit. I'm asking you, do you not believe that the same thing's going to happen? Especially when there's stuff like this all over the internet. Here, I want you guys to check something here real quick. Again, I got to watch what I play here because I really don't... I can't, I don't want involved. Even though I'm probably going to be, I don't want to be. But here, I want to show you guys this. Hang on one second. Let's see here. Can you guys see that? Yeah. Okay. Let me hit play on this. 1 second.
That motherfucker saw me. He watching the fucking stream right now. He knew exactly where the fuck I was. He knew exactly where the fuck I was going. Now, while they doing all that damn motherfucking talking online, sick of this shit. He saw I was motherfucking coming. Leave motherfuckers alone. You know what they gonna play? I didn't see it. Fuck that shit. You saw it. Nigga live out here with all these motherfucking cluckers. They walking down the street. You see that chick on the right there, walking down the street, talking to her motherfucking self. I got the windows down too. It ain't like I don't have the windows down. I had the windows down the whole motherfucking time. Loud than a motherfucker. Well, they playing my jam, but I can't play it.
So, hang on a second. Yeah, there's some of the case right there. There you go. There's some of the case. So, I mean, do you know how many hours, not minutes, just to bring up Alex Jones again, the total amount of data, of actual content about the school shooting was 23 minutes total in across all the years. And it's costing him millions and millions and millions of dollars. 23 minutes. That video right there, and that's a cut version of it, is about 10 minutes total. Do you understand what I'm saying? There are, listen to me, not even hours. There are days and days and days and days of data, videos, comments, threats. Like this here. Let's hear. And, anybody that's watching this that might own these channels, listen to me. It doesn't matter. You can start deleting right now. There are screenshots. There's dates. There's... Listen to me. All of this stuff is backed up. And not only is it backed up once, it's on a server on the cloud. And not only that, there's hard copies of it on DVDs. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. You could delete your whole channel. All of the information, timestamps, dates, data, it's all archived. All of it. You guys remember this here?
Know that little nigga? There you go. Look at him. No, I'm just waiting on my face to get broke.
Waiting on what?
My face to get broke.
Your face to get broke?
Yes, sir.
Why you down here with the police, bitch, nigga?
Ain't no police here.
Why you riding past my house, bitch, nigga?
Ain't no police here, man.
Man, I will mop your ass, my nigga.
I mean, that is.
I will mop you, my nigga.
Okay, man.
You riding past my house at 1 o'clock in the morning with me, nigga?
Drunk.
Man, don't touch me, nigga.
No, back off, bro.
Ain't nothing, don't touch me.
Back,
I didn't
what
put
in,
my
baby,
hands
then you
on
get your face there.
Come on, let's ride, man.
We ain't riding nowhere,
Let's
man.
ride away from here, my nigga.
I'm not riding from
You
here.
see all the police, nigga?
I'm not riding away from her.
You bitch ass nigga.
I mean, if that's how you feel.
You came all
But
the way from Atlanta.
You
to stop
said
me.
I'm supposed to get my face broken. That's all I'm waiting.
Okay, now, with everything that I just talked about in the last, 50 minutes or so, do you understand what's about to happen? True Freeman, and this is just for, look, I know you guys, a lot of you guys have such a hate for him that, I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? Here's my problem in life. It's not what I get. It's what I understand. That's the problem. Do you want a hard-fought, ulcer-ridden, worry-ridden, stressful life? pray for discernment, and your life will never be the same. Pray for discernment. And I've been telling you guys that for 6-7 years. I don't pray for knowledge anymore, but once you understand, you see everything differently. I can't have this level of hate that you guys have for him, for Tommy, for anybody. And my issues with Sotomayor were 100% public online, based on published information. I never went to see him. I never rode around his house. I never walked up to his fence. I never tried to have his dogs killed. I never tried to hire his son or daughter to be on my show. And I haven't flown drones over his house. And I didn't make swatting calls. And I wasn't making fake reports. And I didn't track down his landlord and try to get him evicted. And I mean, his mother, his family, his clients, his wife, you took Donna's job. I mean, all these threats, it's just to a point where I can't believe you don't understand what you've done. And the reason I covered just a pinhead of the legalities of this and what's really in real life happening with the legal system and the internet, you better get ready, because it's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. As solid as I am with, and I'm just going to say this for 2 seconds. This is why we absolutely, mark my words, on this day, September the 24th, 2022, we, for the first time in our really civilian life, will see what the damage of a tactical nuclear bomb does. I promise you that Putin will detonate a tactical nuke with probably in the next, I hate to say dates, but it's going to be way sooner than people are ready for. Listen to me. Putin is not going to back down. Unless you are searching the information out, you do not know what's really happening. You don't know what's really going on over there. You don't know why it's really happening. And if you don't know Putin, or even a smidge of his characteristic, he's not going to back down. He, in a speech he made just 48 hours, maybe 72 hours ago, he basically, in Russian, declared that this is not a bluff. We're about to launch some nukes. And I'm talking tactical nukes, not with the big mushroom clouds and whatever. I'm not talking about those. These are tactical nukes, briefcase nukes that will devastate, 30, 40 city blocks. And this isn't going to stop. NATO, America, Biden has been funneling billions and billions of dollars into Ukraine to kill Russians. That is an aggressive act of indirect war. That would almost be like the Chinese arming Canada or Mexico with tanks, with missiles, with guns, with ammo, with billions of dollars, with armaments, with help, with vehicles, with fuel. Arm them so that they can come across our border and start killing Americans. The same exact thing is happening in Russia right now. And I'm telling you something, Putin is not going to back down. And the biggest reason for that is because Putin has Napoleon syndrome. Putin is 5'3" and I'm saying that's the highest heels he can wear. He is a little man. Do you see how he walks? Do you see how he maneuvers? Do you see how he talks? He's loud. He's ostentatious. It's the same exact protocol as all other men who have Napoleon syndrome. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you. Let's do this. I'm not afraid of you. And I'm telling you, he is going to do this. And here's what you better be afraid of, definitely afraid of. If Putin does do this, which I'm telling you, more than likely he will launch minimum 4 to 5, I'd say 3 to 5 tactical nukes. When he does this, get ready in America, because if there's a rogue force in this country just sitting in the wings, there have been Spetsnaz in this country for the last 15 years. Spetsnaz are the equivalent of the highest degree Marines, the Navy SEALs, the Green Berets. Spetsnaz are killers. They're no joke. They've been in America for the last 15 years. This is well documented. When the signal is given, and even if it's not a direct act of aggression, there may be rogue elements. That's why I've told you guys to watch Jericho, because that's what's going to happen. If or when Putin starts launching nukes, tactical nukes, I promise you that there will be bombs going off somewhere in America. They've already started in Denver with telling, breaking into the daily broadcast with, and this is why you need emergency this and why you should do this. And, hey, do you have an emergency backpack? Do you guys have batteries? Like, they're getting prepared. They're getting ready. They're getting ready, because God forbid if this really does happen. I mean, every fiber in my being believes it is. But if this does, it's the perfect opportunity for some rogue element to launch nukes in America. And they will just simply blame it on Putin, just like they've done with the gasoline. They tried to blame Russia. Just like with Trump, they've blamed Russia. Why do you think every channel on the weekends, if you have cable, plays movies from the 80s? Because we are the last generation that is going to fight against this. We are also the generation that has been trained to believe that Russia is the most deadly force on this planet, which they very well may be, but we've all been trained since we were little kids. If you're between the ages of 30, 50, 60 years old, you hid under your desk too. You were terrified of a nuclear winter by Russia attacking America. You watched War Games. You watched Red Dawn. They keep remaking Red Dawn. Listen. Just get ready on all levels. Get ready on all levels. What you've done to this man on the screen right there, I promise you, you will pay for. You will pay for it.
No, my face
You
is
stand down here by the police, my nigga.
You said you don't care if the police
You
is
doing
here.
the same thing you did
Oh,
with Tyree,
God,
bro.
boy. If you just
Boy.
coming down here to yell, yes, that's what I said.
I ain't come down here to fight you. Let's move away from here, bro.
Well, then, if you ain't gonna fight, then there's no reason to be
Well,
here.
swing, bitch, and I'ma crack your screen.
You're the one who's upset. That's why you had to get
But
drunk
you
to come down
came from
here.
it. I ain't drunk.
Dude,
you
you
came
smell
from
like a
Atlanta
liquor
to
barrel.
stop me, nigga.
You smell like a liquor barrel.
Your mama smell like a liquor barrel,
She
nigga.
probably do. She probably do.
Little bitch ass nigga.
I get it.
Huh?
I get it.
What's all this coming up to Atlanta riding past my crib, bro?
Dude, I don't understand what your point is, bro.
Huh?
If you supposed to come down here, you supposed to do what you said you was
I
gonna
ain't
do.
say I
That's
was
it.
coming down here to do nothing to you.
Well,
You
then there's
came
no
in
reason to talk to me then. How am I running? I'm walking. Lord, what was I doing before you came?
Come on, man, let's go.
What was I doing before you came?
Let's ride away from here.
What
nigga.
was I doing before you came?
Let's ride away from here.
What was I doing before you came?
I don't know what you were doing.
You know what I was doing because you was watching. You can
join.
join me though. This actually pretty nice. This pretty nice.
I was watching Zone.
I know. Hey, I know you. All the dick suckers like
But
watching.
you talked all this shit, right?
You the one said I can't come to the city.
Hey, you here, right?
Yes, you said I cannot come. Bro, you said I can't come.
You know, what would you do? And I'm not going to, you want to watch more of this, I'll link it in the description if you want to watch this whole video. If you haven't seen it. And this is on the internet. This isn't my stuff, which is terabytes and terabytes and terabytes. And I have this too in high quality, digitally remastered, unedited. But did you see this is, you know, it's funny. RIZZO had made a comment. You know, I was apprehensive because let me just be honest. I don't remember who my enemies are. I don't. I mean, I know there's a few people here and there and I recognize names, but I never know, you know, for the most part, and it's always been like this. I just stay quiet. I watch stuff. You know, I'll come to your live stream, but normally I won't say anything, you know, because I don't know who the enemies are. I don't remember maybe or something. I don't know. You know, again, I have no enemies. I'm not on anybody's side. Nobody's on my side. I have no enemies. I just try to cover and document the truth with a discerning perspective on what's happening. That's all I've ever set out to do. I made a comment on RIZZO's one video, and I told him, which actually I haven't even gotten around to that yet because he has made a few great videos. And again, I'll link his channel in the description. If you want more information on this, then you just can't even imagine how in-depth the information is that RIZZO has put together. If you want to clearly understand everything. And I mean, I can't even tell you I fully still understand what this is really about. But I do know there is a felony on the table. There is a plea deal on the table, and then there is an assertion, a guarantee coming from True Freeman's own mouth that he will not take a plea deal. And if I was him, I wouldn't either. But I need you to understand how serious he is about not taking this plea deal. He will not willfully be disarmed. But I made a comment, and I basically had told him, hey, I'm going to cover this. You know, I may use a couple clips here and there. It's all fair use, but you know, I didn't want to blindside him. I didn't want him to, you know, think, oh, what's it, you know. So I made this comment, and he genuinely made me laugh. You know, he wrote something back like, well, you know, why wouldn't Frankenstein check in on the monster? You know what I mean? And that's true. I truly feel responsible that I truly did activate True Freeman. I never hid that, really. I did bring him into this fight, and it's as simple as this. I quickly realized that I needed a black covert radio because a white covert radio, you see, that's even right now with Umar Johnson. There's another YouTuber named Lenin, what's his name? Lenin something. I'll link his channel in the description. Lenin Honor, who is diligently covering Umar Johnson. Man, it's late. So, see, here's what's funny. Race is such a thing, man. It's never going to end. It's never going to end. If I cover Umar Johnson the way that I want to, he will in turn use me as a fundraising opportunity. He will constantly reference covert radio, the white devil, the white man. This is why we're doing this. This is why I need more money. Similarly to what Tommy did. But see, Tommy was smart about it because I had such a towering display of real truth that is undeniable that he can't manipulate out of his own words and all of the the content that I had. Tommy was smart. He did not, I mean, he has, but he tried to really control the amount of light that he had shown or shined onto covert radio. The last thing he wanted was people coming, his followers, the people who pay him every day, to come to covert radio and be like, oh my God, wait, Tommy did say this. He is doing this. The cruise was a setup. It was all a lie. Like on and on and on and on and on and on. Like, that's the last thing he wanted. But with somebody like Umar Johnson, that's the first thing he needs. He needs a white covert radio to give out to his people, because the reality is the people that are funding Umar Johnson are hardcore racist. That's what at the end of the day, that's what this is. These are adult racist parents who want their kids to be as racist as they are. So they go to an extreme racist who's also a school psychologist to pretend we're going to open a school and be indoctrinated with nothing that's going to help you in America. I would love to cover Umar, and it's going to get to a point where I can't help it because, again, Lenin's doing a great job, but I have a perspective on this as well. You know what I mean? So, but I got to watch what I do because I will just be used as fuel for fundraising because I'm the white devil. You know what I mean? In this case, I realized quickly that Tommy at first was, look, I'm not going to explain all this, but I needed a black version of covert radio. I'm going to tell you something, and I'll say it again. True Freeman is not stupid. True Freeman is not stupid. He may be an alcoholic. He may be onto other things. He may have an insatiable appetite for ego and drama and all of these things, so he can constantly try to assert his masculinity and his dominance and his thirst for war to show he is a man. He will not back down, okay? That all may be true, but what's also true is he is not stupid at all. He knows what he knows, and he's very smart with it, whether it's auto body or fixing cars or the information he has about dogs. Again, I love dogs more than I love people. And when he's abused those dogs, believe me, I wanted to rip him through the screen. I have a theory on this, though. But again, that's a whole other video, okay? But he's not stupid. And and the reason I'm telling you this is for this reason. How do you know? Because you don't, because I don't. I know you think you know, but you don't know. How do you know that True Freeman hasn't been setting this up for the last few years to build a case and get paid? How do you know? You don't know. You don't know. Guess who showed up in Indiana? True Freeman didn't show up in Atlanta. True Freeman didn't show up in Arizona. He did, however, entice and got Sotomayor so riled up that he came through interstate stalking, filmed his house, rode around his house, blasted music, said his name, made threats, stalking, harassment, and it's all documented. Because you see the exact information that True Freeman got Tommy to say during this altercation. Why have you been stalking me? Answer, Tommy. Why have you been riding past my house? Answer, Tommy. You know? Listen to me. He's not... He's not stupid. Do you think I would just activate anybody? And how do you know that right now I'm not reactivating him? How do you know that? How do you know that? Hey, listen to this real quick. See what's on the screen? And that track right there, written by Covert Radio, is laced with subliminal messaging. Oh, boy. So what if I offer up 17 terabytes of video to True Freeman to solidify his case and split a settlement of millions? How do you know that? Because case law shows you. Look it up for yourself. I'm not lying. I'm not making it up. Case law shows that there are millions and millions and millions of dollars being transacted for things that are less impactful than what you have done to True Freeman. All aspects of his life have been grievously and severely disrupted by gang stalkers from YouTube and Facebook. And I'm not talking this started in COVID, a couple years. This started in like 2016, 2015 or something, right? I mean, we're talking 6-7 years of this. Forget the 17 terabytes of information and data and audio and video and screenshots and text and emails and threats and live streams that Covert Radio has. You don't think that True Freeman has a literal ton of evidence proving that he has been literally gang stalked consistently, constantly for the past 6-7 years? So when he's talking to a judge, or there's better yet, a jury there, and some crazy attorney has the audacity or the ignorance to say, Mr. True Freeman, now you mean to tell me that you didn't know that those gentlemen on your fence were federal agents? You didn't know that they was bounty hunters? Well, I think all of his evidence will speak for that. If or when discovery happens, it's indefensible. They can, if you have people coming to your house consistently over 7 years, saying they're going to kill you, saying they're going to kill your wife, saying they're going to kill your dogs. I mean, going to your wife's work, going to your landlord, swatting, going to his children, going to his mother. You don't think True Freeman has a reasonable doubt that those agents are legit? That they are even bounty hunters? Anybody can buy a badge on the internet. Right, sir? Anybody can buy a badge on the internet. Anybody can wear a vest. Anybody can say they're a bounty hunter. But when you're dealing with a man who has had a constant barrage of gang stalking, interstate stalking for the last 7 years, I think that he can very easily prove beyond a reasonable doubt, if this comes to a jury, that yes, sir, I have every reason in the world to not believe these are bounty hunters. I have every reason in the world to believe that these are not legitimately policemen coming into my house. Yes, absolutely. Here, sir, let me play this clip from Tommy Sotomayor's show where these, and here's the articles, and I could bring this up right now, of Tommy talking to on-duty police officers in Dallas, in Texas, whenever that shooter was up on a building. These cops should be out trying to protect and serve. They're hiding somewhere on duty, calling Tommy Sotomayor on his show, giving a play-by-play, and this went nationwide. All news outlets picked this up. So let me ask you, sir, is it a far-fetched, unconceivable act to think that this person, this Tommy Sotomayor, has enough influence to cause these gang stalkers to buy a couple uniforms online or from the Goodwill store, Salvation Army, and pose as police? Oh, you're telling me you can be on a reasonable doubt. I'm sitting in the juror, and I have way beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm telling you, get ready. Get ready. True Freeman getting that work via Soto Nation. Tommy himself will be used in this. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I could name probably about 7, 8, 10 more people that are going to be subpoenaed in this. And in case you don't know this, again, this is just adding to the case. Again, with screenshots and all of the data, provable and subpoenable. How did Chucky Dow, how did he make his mark on the scene? How did he impress Daddy? Can anybody remember? Anybody want to tell me how Chucky Dow impressed Daddy? Yeah, well, Craigslist, Chucky Dow, allegedly, well, I mean, we have the screenshots. I mean, it's not alleged, but it's alleged he did it. And he also publicly took credit for it, was putting ads on Craigslist with from a man's home who's been doxxed by now, who everybody knows that he's always armed. He always has a sidearm on him. He has a myriad of weapons at his disposal. But yet, this person, Chucky Dow, still chose to put innocent people in the crosshairs by running fake ads on Craigslist, telling people that we're moving, just walk in and grab whatever you want. No need to knock. If it's still in the house, you can have it. People came to True Freeman's house walking straight through his gate into his house because of a Craigslist ad. So not only did this jeopardize innocent people from being killed, this also jeopardized True Freeman. See, this is, again, what you don't understand. You guys are so wrapped up into this world. The sector is all you know. Can you even begin to conceive how this is going to look to a soccer mom who's called for jury duty for this case? They're going to be terrified to learn that this is going on. Am I starting to come through a little bit clearer? You understand what I'm saying now? I hope you made it this far, because we have a little bit more to go over. And listen, you know, I don't care. Covert radio, true Freeman, and I got a clip right here where he said this, and then he said that, and said this, that, and the third, and then he said this, because then he made a comment, and then he threatened this, and he was going to do that, and then he said this, and blase scoop, and, you know, fiznacks with a heaping shot of, fadigadilme, okay? You know, remember he said all that? You figadilme? Yes, I know. You're right. Yes, I know. He did say that. But the law doesn't really give a fuck, does it? No, it doesn't. But what it does care about, clearly based off of case law and landmark cases in just the last couple years, it does care about doxing. It does care about online harassment. It does care about threats with physical altercations. It does. And many, many people have come to his physical presence to potentially do harm. And you don't think that a jury's going to say beyond a reasonable doubt that this man has every single right to be afraid for his life? Look what he's lost. His wife has lost her job. He almost lost his house. He's lost pets. He's lost property. And listen to me, you think it ain't going to go to the... Let me calm down. You think that this can't go to the Supreme Court? You don't think this can go to the Supreme Court? I'm going to tell you something. There's a thing called the Constitution. There's a thing called the Declaration of Independence. There's the Bill of Rights. Whoever says, this is crazy, it ain't going to be, I'll never go to the Supreme Court, then you don't understand the law. Because this absolutely is a constitutional issue. Absolutely. And this will be a landmark case. And Tommy Sotomayor will be part of case law. Like I said 6 or 7 years ago. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Just those 3 things are unalienable rights. That's clearly stated in the Declaration of Independence. Those rights, the right to life, the right to liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, it's given to all humans by God. And it is the government's duty, a.k.a. the Supreme Court, a.k.a. the lawmakers. It's their responsibility to protect the rights of American citizens. I mean, do you want to live your life every day for 6-7 years in constant, perpetual fear? Do you? Do you think a jury is not going to believe, again, without a reasonable doubt, that True Freeman, there's been a myriad of people who have gang stalked him, that have threatened him, that have stalked his family, that have, called him, swatted him, threatened him, doxed him, on and on and on and on. Absolutely, without a doubt. This is organized stalking. I just showed you this, the clip from Mr. Sotomayor. I just showed you. That's called organized stalking. And that represents a human rights violation, because at the core, at the systemic core, it's physical and it's psychological torture. Do you want to live 6 or 7 years with not knowing the next person who knocks on your door, the next person who comes on your camera, the next person that pulls up to your house isn't going to make good on a threat that they've said they were going to do for the last 6 or 7 years, and people have constantly and consistently physically shown up at his house? This is psychological and physical torture, and it absolutely is a violation of human rights. This absolutely will be a case that the Supreme Court will hear, and there absolutely will be a landmark judgment, a landmark case, and case law based off of this alone. You want to bet me? Every aspect of his life, his money, everything has been destroyed. And now you think he's going to let people disarm him? No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There are countless individuals, and I'm not naming names, but you know who you are. I'm not going to give you the gratification. I'm not going to name names. You know who you are, and everybody listening to my voice knows who they are. They have willfully, they have maliciously, repeatedly harassed him, his family, or girlfriend, his wife, okay? And they have absolutely, without a doubt, that's provable and documented, they have made credible threats with the full intent and disposition to be present in place on his block, on his property, in his alley, on his street. That act alone, which has, again, been done countless times, as recent as a few weeks ago, is a viable threat. Absolutely. And again, get ready. Get ready for felony interstate stalking charges. Get ready for gang stalking charges. Get ready for cyber stalking, harassment charges. This isn't 2016-17 anymore. This isn't even 2019 or 2020 anymore. You don't understand how fast the laws have changed in the last couple years. It is a federal felony to cross state lines to stalk or harass somebody if it's going to cause fear or the threats are made of serious bodily harm or injury, let alone the death threats. And it's not even just limited to True Freeman. It's his wife. It's everything that surrounds him. All of you are guilty, and you know who you are. You have absolutely, without a question, without a reasonable doubt, have placed yourself in the presence of True Freeman and or his family, his immediate family, his property, and you absolutely have, without a doubt, caused reasonable fear for his safety. And it is not far-fetched to believe that somebody's going to pose as bounty hunters or even police with the 7 years of provable harassment, stalking that he has been through. And I'm going to say this one last thing, True, if you're listening to this. Believe this. Check the links in the description. There absolutely are pro bono lawyers that are just begging for an opportunity like this, because I promise you, and I said this again, I'm going to say this last time. From day one, my words are proof. They live on the internet. As long as the internet exists, my words, my predictions will exist. I have always said that Tommy Sotomayor, what he has done, what he's gotten away with, what he hasn't gotten away with. He himself, by putting bounties on people, citizens, cash bounties, thousands and thousands of dollars, bounties on people, everything he's done and gotten away with, it's going to be part of case law, and this is too. This would have never started without Tommy Sotomayor, and that's easily proved. I'm Covert Radio. This may be just part one, because I have a little bit more to say, but I don't want to drag this out. You guys got the meat and the potatoes. I've taken a break. There's a lot of reasons for that. But mainly I wanted to make sure that, I just needed a break, really. I don't want to lose this channel. If I lose it, whatever, just come to Rumble, find my other channels. I have so much information, so much information. I wish I was allowed to be an influencer. I wish I was allowed to speak freely. And it's going to happen eventually. It's not there's so many people waking up to what's happening that they really have no choice but to really go full on grid down at this point. They can't undo what they've done. They can't fix it. They can't hide it anymore. They can't hide Biden's decline. They just can't hide it anymore. Just like Zuckerberg coming out a few weeks ago talking about, and yes, the FBI did contact us, and they made us aware that we should be burying certain stories. Like, come on. That's really what fascism is. Do you guys, see, and they always say the same, they always accuse others of what they're doing. That is the textbook definition of fascism. When a government uses corporations as their weapons. And there's data now proving that. It's all coming out. It's all coming out. If we'd have just lined up and got our passports that we needed to go into public and ride public transit, if we'd have done all that and nobody would have said anything and just rolled up your sleeves or whatever and done whatever, we wouldn't be faced with what's about to happen. And I actually told you that too. I said that about 3 years ago. Watch what happens next if this falls through. Nobody believes it anymore. Nobody believes them anymore. I take no credit. I have a God-given gift of discernment. And somebody, whether it's intelligent, artificial, or real, somebody has recognized that, and they're stifling my free speech. And if you're smart enough to understand what I'm saying, then you need to listen and support Covert Radio. God willing, I'll have a new video for you guys here soon. You guys take care. Have a good day.